Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I'm back with another fun video. We actually have information about Dragonflight. Now, you might say, well, a lot of stuff has happened. We got 925, man. We did get 925. What did 925 bring? Brought a bunch of class balancing. You're looking at Windwalker monks. And I just want to say, I am the #1 Mistweaver monk in the world for damage done and healing done on Heroic Anduin for my item level bracket. You can't deny that. That cannot be denied. There is a log showing that. Okay? It's funny because the people who know how logs and parses work at the beginning of this patch, you guys can laugh about that. Some people take it seriously. And to those people, yes, totally, I am 100% #1. But 925 did launch. We have cross-faction gameplay, except for in certain instances. They had to disable cross-faction rated PvP for a while, for obvious reasons. The Mythic Plus rating titles and everything is being changed, which is fine. I'm kind of okay with it, you know. So there's a lot that's changed. Season 4 has not started yet, so we don't have the new dungeons, the new Fated Raid encounters. There is some story stuff that has happened. There's been some cinematics and everything. I don't like a lot of it. Some people, specifically you guys maybe, might be interested in what's going on in those cinematics, so I suggest going over to somewhere like YouTube or Wowhead or MMO Champion and looking at the cinematics. I personally don't care for any of them because there's nothing new. Oh, we get Dark Ranger customization, which kind of sucks. I personally would have liked us to actually get a Dark Ranger. But hey, it's customization only. That's cool. Literally every elf gets it, and hunter elves get a transmog that makes you look like a basic bitch Dark Ranger, I guess. Aces, cool, that's fine. What's the big news for Dragonflight? Did we get pre-order? Did we get a release date? Bro, did we get a look at the raid bosses? No. In fact, all we really got for Dragonflight is told Ysera might return if Elune wills it. Which is the short answer for yes, we will see her. Why? Because she's a dragon, and Dragonflight is happening. And death is completely meaningless in the Warcraft universe unless you are an alliance leader. In which case, death is a big deal. And permanent. And you are never seen again. So we're going to head over to the real news. Blizzard. I've got to give it up for them. I've got to give it up. We did get talent calculators for Druids and Death Knights. I'm hoping they release these faster than just like a couple every week, because that's kind of underwhelming. But we've got the Druid Dragonflight talent preview. We can't really do anything with this, right? We can't do anything with that. It's just we've got images. We've got images of what the talent tree will look like. So it looks like to get past this row, you need to spend at least 8 points, which doesn't seem too difficult. It would just be like 1, 1, 1, 3. Okay, that's 6, 7, 8. Boom. Okay, you can move down that one. Oh, sorry. I'm just allergic to bullshit from Blizzard's thing, and I'll tell you why. Because there's like nothing new in these talent trees. And it sucks. But you can also see, if I've done this correctly, and it looks like I haven't, I need to resize this a little bit. You can also see that you've got these little choices, right? You can swap between abilities. So there are some abilities that you can swap through. There's the Guardian Druid tree, and as you can see, like, spec trees are all the same. And you can, depending on how you build it, get the same exact setup for a Feral Druid and a Guardian Druid on the main spec tree. This is a little different. Some of the biggest concerns that players have, and Blizzard can't address this because they have no way to address it, is that a lot of this stuff is passive. So, for example, for Feral, to be able to get one of their abilities to work as baseline, they have to take multiple talents. So you're not really getting anything new. This is just a way for you to play how you currently play. And it kind of sucks, but I'm thinking some things are going to be a little easier. Keep in mind this is a work in progress mock-up, which all of this is, and that's got me a little worried. We are not seeing this game this year, by the way. There are people who say, oh, hey, it's a 2022 release date because one of the leakers said so. It's like, no, one of the leakers did not say so. One of the leakers just went into a random post where someone's like, hey, guys, it's Dragonflight. And said, yeah, hey, guys, I'd keep an eye on this. Via Scaleface. Scaleface is not a developer. Scaleface is someone who works for a third party, and they got information that way. And then they took themselves way too seriously. But, if you are all paying attention, you can see one very important thing. Some of these abilities in certain trees seem to not have ranks in other specs, but do have ranks. So what could that mean? Well, from what we've been told, some of these are given passively. So if you see any of these starting talents without a point invested in them, that means that it was one that was just given to you, which I imagine when we go over to balance, it's going to be Star Surge and Starfall. Yeah, hey, look at that. Okay, so as you can see, you do have some abilities that you can swap through. Some people have pointed out they've seen Convoke. So we are going to do the wonderful thing, and we're going to go down here and read the talent tree and ability breakdown. So the Dragonflight talent update is a great opportunity to let the Druid explore the flexibility inherent to the class. In many ways, the affinity concept from Legion through Shadowlands was anticipating something that we're hoping to re-emphasize here: the ability to choose elements of various shapeshift forms and roles. That idea is now expanded into a class talent tree that has paths relating to every spec, whether a deeper investment obtains more of that spec's fundamental buttons. Various utility and crowd control are placed in optional locations off of every branch, as well as in a central area that is easy for every spec to access. Our hope is that every spec can play in a somewhat traditional manner, where it fills out the complete path laid out for it in the core tree, and then pick up a choice of miscellaneous utility or more customized manner in where it reaches deeper into the other specs. So, here are some baseline Druid abilities. Maxed level Druids will have access to Wrath, Moonfire, Regrowth, Revive, Entangling Roots, Bear Form, Bark Skin, Growl, Cat Form, Prowl, Dash, Ferocious Bite, Aquatic Form, Travel Form, Flight Form, Teleport Moonglade, Mark of the Wild, and Rebirth. Now, here's the thing. This kind of doesn't make sense to have both Revive and Rebirth, because Rebirth is the battle res, but Mark of the Wild is returning, guys. Mark of the Wild is returning, and it looks powerful. Speed and crit chance and magic damage reduction increased by 3% for an hour. It's a raid buff. People are like, oh, that's so boring. Is it though? It's really good. It's really good. Mark of the Wild. It's a raid buff, man. You go into a raid with even one warlock without a mage, and you tell me, tell that warlock, hey, raid buffs are boring. No one cares. Here is some talents. NNF, temporary, not yet final name. That's fine. Rake the target for damage. Bleeds, awards a combo point. Granted by default, so yes, you get them by default. Frenzied Regen, granted by default. Rejuve, granted by default. Starfire, granted by default. That is row 1. Those are the ones that are... So, what you're hearing, what you're seeing here is that you can be feral and then get the Rejuve ability. Row 2. Thrash, granted by default. Improved Bark Skin. Its duration is increased by up to 4 seconds, 2 rank talent. Swiftmen, consumes regrowth, wild growth, or rejuve, granted by default when selecting Resto. Star Surge, launch a surge of stellar energy, granted by default when selecting Balance. What does this mean? This means that you can be truly hybrid. Rip, finishing move, lasts longer per combo point. Swipe nearby enemies, damage varies by shapeshift form. Improved Frenzied Regen, it's all healing increased by 20% by those abilities. Remove Corruption, which is a decurse, not a dispel, sadly. Moonkin form, shapeshift into Moonkin, increasing the damage of your spells and your armor by 125% and granting protection from polymorph. It frees you from movement impairing effects. Now, I'm telling you right now, there is going to be a really weird build with Druids. Maim, finishing move. Damage and stuns the target. Damage and duration increased by combo point. Increased armor and physical damage. 3 rank ability. Who wouldn't want that? Iron Fur increases armor for 7 seconds. Increased healing and magic damage. Again, you're going to be seeing some really cool hybrid builds. Are they going to be like in the mythic raids at the top end where everyone's going to be like, yeah, man, I'm a feral guardian druid. Oh, I'm a feral resto druid. No, you won't see that because that's not how it works. There will always be an optimal way. Row 5, feline swiftness, movement speed increased by up to 15%. Skull bash, your charge and bash interrupt. Okay, so it's an interrupt and silence. Thick hide reduces all damage. Choice note, it's a choice node. So what the choice nodes are is where you can choose between 2 abilities. So these are going to be the ones that you can swap. Fly to a nearby ally's position, or shift into a cat and increase your movement speed, reducing gradually over 5 seconds. So a dash or like a reverse pull. Increased healing done and healing taken. Cyclone. It's Cyclone. Astral influence. Depending on depending on what spec you are, it increases the range differently. I cannot speak. Row 6, tireless pursuit, movement speed, soothe, dispel, or no, not dispel, that's a trank shot. Sunfire, it's Sunfire. Typhoon, nothing new. Primal Fury, when you crit with an attack that generates combo point, additional combo point. Okay, awesome. Sock's Endurance, Bark Skin, absorbs a small amount of damage. Okay, a little bit of an absorb. Stampeding Roar, that's fine. You shapeshift into bear form, which is kind of interesting. Wild Growth heals up to 5 injured allies. Healing starts high and declines. Okay. Improved Sunfire. Okay. Row 8, choice node between Incapacitating Roar and Mighty Bash, which is just CC. Ursine Vigor, not CC. Like Kara's Teaching, you gain a percentage of stat based on your current form. If you are in no form, you get haste, which would be like the healing thing, even though I personally would say Moonkin form would be what you use for healing. Cat form, crit, bear form, verse, Moonkin, mastery. I know a certain guardian druid who plays a bear who hates versatility. It is a boring stat. Like, it's nice to do higher numbers, but it's a boring stat. Improved Rejuve. Rejuve's duration is increased by 3 seconds. Choice node, Mass Entanglement, and Ursol's Vortex. I thought I saw Ursol's Vortex earlier, but okay. Row 9, Well-Honed Instincts. When you fall below 40% health, you cast Frenzied Regen every 90 seconds. 2 rank talent. Improved Stampeding Roar. Cooldown reduced by a minute. Renewal. Heals. Usable in all shapeshift form. Innervate. It's Innervate. It's mana. Furor. When you shift into a form you haven't been in for 20 seconds, abilities cost no rage, energy, astral power, or mana for 4. Oh, that could be useful. Heart of the Wild. Abilities not associated with your chosen spec are empowered for 45 seconds. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of Resto hybrid druids out there. Nature's Vigil for 20 seconds. All single target healing and damage spells also heal a nearby target for based on the amount done. 20% for heals, 40% for damage. 1.5 minute cooldown. Balanced druids. So based on the spec, I can't say much for the spec, but base druids, you're going to get a lot. Balance row 1, Eclipse. Casting 2 Starfires empowers Wrath. Casting 2 Wrath empowers Starfires. These eclipses occur in alternation. Eclipse Solar. Wrath cast time is reduced and damage increased. Starfire cast time reduced and crit increased. Balance row 2, Improved Eclipse. Improved Moonfire and Sunfire. Force of Nature. Okay, cool. Taunt and attack enemies. Okay. Nature's Balance. While in combat, you generate astral power every 2 seconds. While out of combat, it rebalances to 50 instead of depleting to empty. Okay. I mean, people are going to take that. A Warrior of Loon. Your next 3 Starfires are instant and generate 40% increased astral power. Starfall. It's Starfall. It's Starfall with 40-yard range. Improved Moonkin form. While in Moonkin form, single target attacks against you have a 15% chance to make your next Starfire instant. Wouldn't really be good in anything outside of PvP and soloing, I guess. Celestial Alignment. Bring the celestial bodies into alignment over the target area, applying Moonfire and Sunfire to all enemies. For 20 seconds, both eclipses are maintained, and you gain 10% haste. That's your raid cooldown, or your big burst cooldown. Improved Star Surge. Further empowers damage bonus of any active eclipse. Solar Beam. You know what Solar Beam is. Shooting Stars. Moonfire and Sunfire. Damage has a chance to call down a falling star, dealing... Oh, what the heck? Dealing astral damage. Improved Starfall. The... Power of Goldrin. Star Surge has a chance to summon the Spirit of Goldrin, which immediately deals arcane damage. Star-Lord. Star Surge and Starfall grant you haste for 15 seconds. Gaining a stack does not refresh the duration. Starfall deals 50% additional damage and allows you to cast while moving while it's active, but now has a 12-second cooldown. Star Surge and Starfall have an up to 20% chance to empower Eclipse or extend Moonfire and Sunfire by double the amount. 3 rank talent. Light of the Sun reduces the remaining cooldown by 15 seconds when it interrupts the primary target. Umbral Intensity. Eclipse damages the Wrath and Precise Alignment. Okay, I'm just going to go over the choice nodes because the rest of this is just kind of boring stuff we already know. Choice node, Blessing of Lune or Anshi. Lunar Eclipse is 3 seconds longer, and Solar Eclipse is 3 seconds shorter. Solar Eclipse is 3 seconds longer, and Lunar Eclipse is 3 seconds shorter. You choose that based on what you can do. I guess I don't know if Lunar's the AoE or not. Maybe it's a dot versus damage up front. I don't know. This is why I wish that we got more than just two. Fury of the Skies. Choice Node. Twin Moons. Moonfire deals 10% increased damage and also hits another nearby enemy within 15 yards of the target. Stellar Flare. Burns the target for a small amount of astral damage and then additional astral damage over 24 seconds. And then Solstice. Balance Row. Another choice node. Clear Vision. 20% chance to make Starfall free and 40% chance to make Star Surge free. That could be really cool. Time-worn Dreambinder. Star Surge and Starfall reduce the cost of Star Surge and Starfall by 10% and increase their damage by 10%. For 5 seconds stacking up to 2 times. That's interesting. Umbral Infusion. While in Eclipse, the cost of Star Surge and Starfall is reduced by 5 to 10%. Choice Node. Incarnation. Chosen of Elune. An improved Moonkin form that grants the benefits of Celestial Alignment and 10% crit chance. Lasts 30 seconds. You may shift in and out of improved Moonkin form for its duration. Now, we looked at a talent that makes very interesting work with this, where you can shapeshift into this, since you've been out of it for more than 20 seconds, and for the first 4 seconds, with this increased strike chance, you can do all of the abilities without cost. Convoke the Spirits. You already know what Convoke the Spirits does. Circle of Life and Death. Your dots deal their damage faster, and your healing heals faster. Choice Node. Syzygy. Celestial Alignment now blasts all targets between you and the selected area for astral damage, and applies Moonfire and Starfire. Interesting. Arcane Pulsar. Every 400 astral power spent grants Celestial Alignment for 12 seconds. That's a little okay. Choice Node. New Moon. Deals astral damage to the target and empowers New Moon to become Half Moon. Generates 10 astral power. I'm happy that New Moon's back. Fury of Elune. Calls down a beam of pure celestial energy that follows the enemy. That's Arcane Pulsar. Dealing astral damage. Damage reduced secondary targets. Generates 40 astral power. Improved Incarnation or Convoke. Shifting out of Incarnation before it expires ends the effect and refunds a portion of its cooldown. Convoke has an increased chance to use an exceptional spell or ability, so like a high-powered spell. Choice Node. Adaptive Swarm or Balance of All Things. Command a swarm that heals or deals damage over 12 seconds to a target and increases the effectiveness of your periodic effects. Upon expiration, finds a new target, preferring to alternate between friend and foe up to 3 times. It's very interesting that you can do this with at least 2 Covenant abilities. I don't play Druid, so I don't know about the other abilities. Balance of All Things. Entering Eclipse increases your critical strike chance with arcane or nature spells by 24%, decreasing 3% every second. Again, just really good. So, overall, not too bad. Not too bad, honestly. Again, I don't really know Druid that much, which is why I'm just going to go over the choice ones. Choice Node. Predator. The cooldown on Tiger's Fury resets when the target dies from a bleed effect active. Tiger's Fury lasts 5 additional seconds. Okay. Sabretooth. Ferocious Bite. Deals 20% increased damage and increases duration of Rip by 1 second per combo point spent. Okay. I mean, again, ooh. Huh. These 2 Berserks. It looks like this might be a choice node and they just fucked up. Causing Rake and Shred to deal damage. Oh, no. No. Okay. No. these are the exact same. Okay, so you use one and it triggers both. Choice node, Feral Frenzy. Unleash a Frenzy, clawing your target 5 times. Additional bleed damage, awards 5 combo points. Okay. Blood Talons. When you use 3 different abilities within 4 seconds, the damage of your next 2 rips or ferocious bites is increased by 30%. Adaptive Swarm. Okay, that's there. Choice nodes. Incarnation Avatar of Ashamain. Improved cat form. Okay. And Convoke. Soul of the Forest, your finishing move grants 5 energy per combo point spent and deal 5% increased damage. You're going to take that. You're going to take that because ideally you're using finishing things with at least 3 points, maybe 5. So you're getting 15 to 25 energy back, and I think they cost 50 energy each. This place is haunted, so that's fine. Draft of Deep Focus. When Moonfire, Rake, Rip, or Rejuve are active on a single target, their effects are increased by 40%. Apex Predator's Carving. Rip damage has a 4% chance to make your next ferocious bite free and deal maximum damage. Draft of Deep Focus seems familiar. Okay, it's my cat. My cat and my dog are playing together. That freaked me out a little bit. Proved Incarnation and Convoke, Circle of Life and Death. Choice node, Brambles, which absorbs and reflects damage while Bark Skin is active. Brambles deals nature damage. Okay. And Bristling Fur. Okay. Let me get over my dog being a butt. They don't, like, I recently had to move in my cats. Move in cats that were not specifically mine, but other people are moving, so they're staying here for now. And my dog, even though he grew up around them, is still a puppy, so he likes to play. The problem is he's a lab, and he's very big, and they are cats, so they are not. Choice node, Dream of Cenarius. When you take non-periodic damage, you have a chance equal to crit to cause your next regrowth to be instant, free, and castable in all forms. Okay. Ursoc's Fury, Maul. Thrash grants you an absorb shield for 75% of all. People are going to take fucking Ursoc's Fury. It's just much better unless you're doing off healing, in which case you take Dream of Cenarius, but otherwise you're taking Ursoc's Fury. Loon's Favored. While in bear form, you deal increased arcane damage and are healed for 30%. See, that's where the class abilities, like the main class abilities, would come into hand. Like they come in really good, right? They'd be really handy because you could fire off Star Surge. You get Circle of Life and Death a lot earlier in row 8 compared to row 10. Guardian of Loon. Mangle increases duration of your next Iron Fur and the healing of your next Frenzied Regen. Okay. Doesn't say if it stacks. After the Wildfire, each time you spend 200 range, you heal nearby allies for 3% of your max health. That's a weird thing. I think people would just choose Guardian of Loon every time, but I don't know. Convoke the Spirits and Incarnation Guardian of Ursoc, which is just an improved form. Another choice node, Blood Frenzy, which Thrash generates Rage, and Mangle generates more rage and deals more damage. Reduces the cooldown of Barkskin Survival Instincts. Final one, Untamed Savagery, increases damage and radius of Thrash. Versa can be a Thrash Bear again, man. Rend and Tear, each stack reduces the target's damage to you and increases your damage to them. He's Thrash Bear. That's all he is. He's going to be a Thrash Bear. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. And the final one, the Resto Druid talents. Of course, the Dispel, because only healers are allowed to have Dispel. You get Life Bloom. Trying to find choice notes here, man. Like, these talent trees are so boring to me. Cenarian Ward, which, abundance for each rejuve you have active, its cost is reduced. Okay, that's good. Spring Blossoms. Each target healed by F-Flow is healed a small amount of additional healing. Okay. Apply Life Bloom, Rejuve, Wild Growth, and Regrowth heal over time effect to an ally. Okay. Invigorate. Your heal over time on the target complete. They're healing twice as fast, 45-second cooldown. Memory of the Mother Tree. Wild Growth has a 40% chance to cause your next Rejuve or Regrowth to apply to 3 additional allies within 20 yards of the target. Okay. Incarnation of Life and Convoke. We've already talked about those. Photosynthesis. While Life Bloom is on yourself, your periodic heals heal 20% faster. While it's on an ally, your heals on them have a 4% chance to cause it to bloom. Dark Titan's Lesson. You may Life Bloom 2 targets at once. Oh, you had to place those in the same choice. You cheeky little bastards. If you had these separately, you could, team them up. That would be a little... that would be a little dangerous. Flourish extends duration of all your all your hots by 8 seconds, increases the rate by 100%. Okay. Swift Mend no longer consumes a hot and extends the duration of your heal over time. Effects on the target by 8 seconds. It's pretty good. Talent system design philosophy. Increase player agency over your character's progression and build. Provide meaningful rewards while leveling. You guys don't understand what meaningful rewards are. You don't. Because you're essentially just giving us stuff that we already had. We don't really keep much needs. It's growing pains, though. We don't have borrowed power. So this is like a growing pains thing. I'm okay with it. I don't like Blizzard and their design philosophies. Significant differences from previous versions. First, you have not 1 tree, but 2. Yeah, but you also don't have abilities that you get just from leveling up. So, yeah. The spec tree is predominantly focused on bonuses that enhance your power in your main role, while the other one is... Oh, here's some answers to questions that they know are coming their way. Some abilities are critical to my rotation. Will that mean I always have to build a certain way? No, the most basic building blocks of your rotation will tend to either be learned from levels 1 through 10, awarded automatically in the class tree, or placed at the top of your spec tree as a first point spent in that tree. So, yeah, they technically have to build a certain way. Major abilities that they expect to be part of most rotations will be at the start of it. I really want to see what they're doing with the Windwalker tree, monk trees in general, man. Certain piece of utility is important in certain content. For example, interrupts in Mythic Plus. Does this limit my choices? Similarly, the more likely something is to be all but required for some players, the more we must place it in the tree in an appropriate location. One that still leaves the rest of your build choices very open. Dodge. But yes, it does limit your stuff. Here, I'll answer this for them since they couldn't answer it. Yes, it does. But you're sacrificing choices for the interrupt because you're choosing to do Mythic Plus. Get over it. Does this mean it's possible to make very bad builds? Yes, there's a limit to guardrails. Thank you. I'm okay with really bad talent builds. Really bad talent builds are fine because guess what? They won't get you that far. So people will just like fuck around with their own talent builds for a while, and they'll be where they need to stay. Right? That's it. If they're like, I'm not gonna do this build that increases my damage by 50% because I don't like that build, Jimmy. I'm gonna go with my build because I can both do Avenger Shield and Wake of Ashes, Jimmy. And stuff like that. That's fine. Does this mean that some of my points are spent on somewhat obvious choices and aren't likely to be moved? Yes, 61 points is drastically more than 7, and it would be a mistake if all 61 points were always heavily in play. You know, you don't have to make all of them in play, but make a few of them, you know? Don't even give us 61 points. Half it. Half it and give us our baseline abilities. Does this all mean that I will use some of my points to rebuy some things that were baseline in Shadowlands? So, I'm going to sum up this entire thing, right? I'm not reading this because just looking at like every fifth word or something, I can tell. Yes, you will. You're not really gaining a lot of stuff. Do you have to buy baseline abilities? Yes, you will have to buy baseline abilities. But the caveat to that is you get more to it, right? I'm not saying that right now you have 5 abilities, and in Dragonflight you'll get like 10, but right now you have like 5 abilities and you can end up with 7. Right? We saw that. We saw that you can have multiple Covenant abilities, right? And multiple talents that were on the same row. Abilities learned before 10, the most basic elements of which you start with your class: Moonfire, Death Strike, blah blah blah. Buttons whose impact is primarily non-combat and non-power related: Teleport, Moonglade, Path of Frost, and Revive. Non-stacking group buffs or spells where a group always wants exactly one person with the ability: Raise, Ally, Rebirth, and Mark of the Wild. Okay, so they're still awarded automatically outside of the tree. There are a few broad categories. There are a lot of case-by-case calls, a few nuts and bolts. An experience of using your first class tree point is awarded at level 10, your first spec tree point at 11, alternating between the two from there. Okay, this is cool. You know why this is cool? Because essentially what this means is that they can just keep adding to the tree. They can add like horizontally to the tree and everything, so it doesn't keep spreading out, and you're getting like 5 extra class points and 5 extra spec points. They don't really have to do a lot. They can just add passive stuff like that, if they're smart enough. Certain basic abilities in the class tree are given automatically to people with particular specs. These do not cost any points. Most talents have prerequisites. They will be indicated by arrows in the final UI. If a talent has any arrows leading to it, you must have fully purchased at least one of those previous talents to access it. For clarity, arrows always point downwards or diagonally downwards in current drafts. Every tree has certain rows that you can't pass until you spent a certain number of talent points. Unlike Mist Pandaria trees, this is not the case for every row. In the prototype Druid and Death Knight trees, you cannot buy talents in the 5th row and beyond until you've spent 8 points in the tree. You cannot buy talents in the 8th row and beyond until you've spent 20 points in the tree. In octagonal choice nodes, you may obtain one of the 2 choices at a time. So, we're going to go back up, because I'm not prepared for this stuff. And we're going to look at something like the balance tree. So I'm trying to find Mark of the Wild. It looks like that's automatically granted, right? Trying to find Mark of the Wild. I don't know what Mark of the Wild looks like, so that looks like Rejuve or whatever, right? One would argue Mark of the Wild would be here somewhere. Okay, give me a second. I'm half asleep, so I'm screwing up a lot right now. Okay, it seems like it's not in the talent tree, so it is an ability kind of just granted, which is fine. It would kind of make sense that they wouldn't make you spend a talent point on it, because it would be required for any group content and any content really, because it's so powerful. But that is the fun little Druid stuff, so I will talk to you guys later. Tell me what you think about it, or what you think they could improve, and what your hopes are for your class. Certainly the next class that we are going to see is Demon Hunter. I mean, after Death Knight, of course, but the next one not released. You guys know what I mean.